this is your astrology forecast for July 2015. Thank you for joining me. It's a real pleasure to be with you today. I'm going to have a look at what the planets are doing, how they interact, what aspects they make, to give you a real insight into what impact they're going to have on you and what the month is going to look like. So I'm not going to draw any tarot cards. I'm only going to focus really in a lot of detail on the astrology this month. Okay, so to start this off then, the first thing that I see in your chart on the 1st of July is that you have a T-square in the chart. And a T-square looks like a triangle. It's made up of an opposition when two planets or angles or luminaries are 180 degrees apart and then two squares on top of it. So two aspects that are 90 degrees apart. The opposition represents the problem, the squares represent the solution. So the opposition here that's lined itself up is between your moon, which is in your sign Capricorn, right on top of your ascendant, opposes your sun and your Mars in Cancer in your 7th house. And I really feel that you're very comfortable within yourself. I think you're very diligent. I think you're focused on work. I think you're very at peace with who you are. And I think the thing that's presenting you with a little bit of concern or problems is relationships. And I don't think that people are necessarily doing what you would like them to do, or I think you feel a little bit frustrated. The solution out of this is to focus on maintaining positive relationships, but to work at building or maintaining positive relationships. So I really want to go a little bit out of your way to be considerate of other people, to not expect other people to completely do what it is you want. And as a kind of release for all of this, pour yourself into work. You're really going to be able to create a lot of good in that sector. And I think the main focus, in any case, while you're a little bit annoyed and distracted, is because you want to be focusing on work. At the same time, the ascendant squares your midheaven, and the ascendant is what you're like without thinking about it. It's how you see yourself. And that's right on top of your midheaven in Virgo. So you see yourself as someone who's very practical and actively working at the moment. And what you need to work on really, or what you feel like is more work or harder for you, is communicating with people, working with other people, and just kind of maintaining positive relationships with other people at the moment, because I feel like you don't want to be bothered at the beginning of the month. The next thing that occurs is that Mercury is in sextile with Uranus. And Mercury is the planet of communication. It's very happy in Gemini in your 6th house. And it means that the communication that you do at the moment is connected with work. And that's what you're most comfortable with. What you are good at is communicating with people who are close to you, so family, partners, things like that. But where a little bit of conflict and competition comes in is especially with people in your working life who distract you from the actual work and who could possibly compete with you. So I think, most careers, most jobs have other people doing them, so there is competition built in. And I think that's something you just need to be aware of and watch out for, because people taking your business or competing with you or actively competing you or trying to sabotage you is really not going to sit well, and you just need to keep a constructive kind of mindset about that, because it's something that happens every day to everyone who's in business. The full moon is on the 2nd, and the full moon occurs in your 1st house in Capricorn. So you're going to be really pleased and benefit a lot from this full moon, because it's almost like you're getting a second wind. You feel yourself, you feel comfortable, you feel confident, you feel able to do the work that you want to do, and you're at the peak of your powers. You're really on top of your game. Saturn squares Venus from the 3rd of July onwards through until the 15th of August. And Saturn is the planet of restriction and really putting things under the microscope. That's in Scorpio in your 11th house. And really, I think what that indicates is that you tend to blame your disappointments or lack of success on other people rather than looking at yourself. I think the tendency is going to be to look outside of yourself. And if that person hadn't done that, then I would have been successful. And if that hadn't been for him or her, then I would have been there. And that's something that, again, is going to cause you a lot of grief if you go with that thought. And the thing I would like you to concentrate on is yourself. That's there for the first half of the month, okay? So the way to stop that kind of thinking is to make a gratitude list, to be grateful for the good things that you do have in your life, rather than kind of pointing the finger and blaming other people. The Sun trines Neptune, and that's good because you communicate in a way. A trine is a 120-degree connection, and it's a harmonious connection. And this occurs from the 24th of June through until the 9th of July. So there is something about you during this period which enables you to communicate in a very kind of aspirational way, and to, especially with people in your intimate personal life, again, people you feel comfortable with, you can really make plans and plans for the future and kind of develop relationships and take them to the next level. So if you've been dating someone for, you know, a couple of months, a year, you could kind of start to sit down together and kind of decide where you want this relationship to go. It's about aspiring and imagining what could be, and then making that happen in a relationship sense and putting some concrete action in. That's really good, and that helps you to kind of make things more concrete in your personal life, and even to make plans for a family or to create a family. Mercury moves into Cancer on the 9th of July, and that sits right on top of your descendant. Okay, so what this does now is this really improves your communication abilities, and you've got 4 planets in Cancer there now in your 7th house. You've got Mercury, the midheaven, Mars, and the Sun, and all of those will mean that you're quite emotionally astute and understanding when it comes to other people. What this squares is, it squares your North Node and your Ascendant in your 10th house, which on some level could make it difficult to maintain work relationships, because people are either coming to you with their problems, or you kind of get hints and insights into something not being right. But it's really, there's a push and a pull between doing the work and keeping good relationships going, while having all of this emotional stuff come in and muddy it up and kind of, you know, create a lack of clarity. So again, the thing for you to remember is, I want to have harmonious relationships, I want to get my work done, and I want to find a way to move forward, rather than getting bogged down into all of this emotional thing. The emotional side of things, that's okay in your personal private life to explore those things, but I would keep it to a minimum in work, because it will feel really uncomfortable for you. There's another T-square that occurs on the 11th of July, and that occurs between your Moon in your 5th in Taurus, Saturn in Scorpio in your 11th, which really now creates a kind of comfort in terms of your romantic relationship life, and a feeling of things not moving quickly enough there. And the way out of this situation is to suggest things and to take practical action. So what I said earlier in terms of it's a good time to aspire to something, I really feel like a theme is starting to emerge, is that you want to get somewhere, you want to go somewhere, and you feel like other people are slowing you down or holding you back. That's not necessarily the case. If you take the bull by the horns, if you take action, you will be able to make the progress you want to, but it's really not going to come from other people. You have to initiate this month. Okay, so you have to be the force for change, for action, for all of those things, which, I mean, you're pretty used to. You're a cardinal sign, you like to take action, you like, you know, being in charge. So don't shy away from that. People aren't going to get upset if you take charge and if you set the kind of agenda for a situation. Mars has been in conjunction with the Sun for the whole of June, and that conjunction ends on the 12th of July. So what happens when that conjunction ends is that the issues that you've had with other people, the kind of frustrations or the overly emotional side of things, that starts to ease off a little bit now. The other thing that stops is an opposition between Pluto and the Sun, which has been there as well since excuse me, the 27th of June. and it comes to an end on the 14th of July. And what this is about is you versus other people. So I think you stop feeling so isolated, you stop feeling so other to people, and I think things come a little bit more together, and you become, excuse me, a little more at peace emotionally with other people. It's an interesting month, okay, because it's almost like you want to focus on yourself, and then other people step in, but to get to where you want to go within yourself, you need other people. So it's like walking a tightrope, and you have to balance things, and the way to manage all of that, work and personal, is to be diplomatic, to be tactful, and to kind of create a balancing act between you and other people, because no man is an island, and you need to work together with people to get to where you want to go. Venus does conjunct Jupiter from the 17th of June through until the 13th of August, so almost for 2 months. And this is a really, really good sign, because these two planets are in your 8th house of other people in Leo. And it's other people in terms of institutions and legal things, but it's how other people impact you and impact your life. So what this says to me is that during this time, other people, when you go to them and when you take that action, will react positively to you and will work with you in the way you would like. So you can rely on the cooperation of other people. I don't really see that people are going to cause you are going to block you in any way. And it's about being smart and getting people on board and getting people to work with you in terms of what you want to achieve, rather than sitting back and say, I'm being slowed down by all of these people. Use the resources that are available to you, is what I'm saying. The new moon occurs on the 16th of July, and the new moon is about planting new seeds and new intentions for your family life, for your emotional life in future, because this one is in Cancer, in your 7th. So what I would like you to do is to think about where you see yourself in terms of your romantic emotional life. If you are single, plant those seeds of intention. Say, I want to be with someone in the next year or something, and what practical action can I take to make that happen? I am with someone and we have been seeing each other for a couple of months. I want us to get married and have children within the next so many years. It's important to really get clear on that for you, Capricorn, because then that will galvanize you into action, and you will actually, excuse me, be able to take that forward and make it a reality in your life. Uranus squares Mars from the 16th of July, so the same day, and it stays in that square aspect with Mars until the 2nd of August. Now, this will have a tendency for you, Capricorn, to take things a little bit too seriously again, and to not deal well with the emotional side of things. Again, a light touch is required, and for you not to overanalyze the emotional things people dump on us. If you work in an office or something and someone comes in crying and weeping, you may think that's really inappropriate, because it's a professional environment, but it's up to you to deal with it. And rather than go into the depths and realms of why are you crying and what's upset you, rather than, oh, you're having a bad day, what can we do to kind of move forward? And just to try and smooth it over, because it's not your job this month to really get into it with people, because it unbalances you. It throws off your center, and it's important for you to constantly have that goal to move forward and not let the emotional aspects of life kind of derail you, because you find them quite difficult to deal with in July. Okay. Venus goes into Virgo on the 19th, and it does that in the 9th house, and it conjuncts your moon in Virgo as well. So what this does is it allows you to become more discerning about what it is you love and what direction you want to go in. Similar theme, making plans for the future, especially in what it is you love. And this could also extend to your education and your career, rather than just your personal romantic relationships. But the theme is similar, that you are going to be making decisions and become more discerning about where you want to go, what direction you're going in, and how you want things to progress. So July is really a month of planning for you in terms of getting your life to a place where you're happy with it and where you see yourself being happy. Another T-square occurs between the 19th and the 29th of July, and this is between Pluto opposing the midheaven and then squaring the Ascendant. Okay, so the sense of, again, it's about being creative, it's about being diligent, being hardworking without letting the emotional side of things impact you too much, and working at managing the emotions of yourself and other people. Mercury then goes into Leo on the 24th, and that's helpful to you because things will start to pick up in terms of your working life. Other people's impact on you will lessen. The pace will pick up, things will start to flow at a more natural pace for you, and you won't be as frustrated with the way things are moving forward. So things kind of return back to normal on the 24th. There is also a grand trine that occurs on the 25th, and the grand trine is a big blue triangle in the chart, okay? It's 3 trines connecting to make a giant triangle, and it indicates an area of real talent in your chart. That occurs on the 25th for you, and it's between your Chiron in Pisces in the 3rd, your Moon in Scorpio in the 11th, and your midheaven in Cancer in the 7th. So the issues that you've had with other people this month, especially at work, can be transformed, and the actual work that you've done will allow you to achieve your hopes and dreams. So things aren't mutually exclusive here. You know, you've looked at intimate personal relationships, and you may have struggled with work relationships. However, the work that you've done in your working life will benefit you in your romantic life, and vice versa. The good news and the good vibes that you get from your personal romantic life will have a good impact on your working life. So all of these things, all of these interactions with other people make you more emotionally intelligent. You're able to really transform your relationships with people and really make them more positive. So the beginning of the month to really the middle of it is about learning to deal with other people, but by the end of the month you overcome that and you have a really increased ability to work and to be with other people in a much more emotionally intelligent way. Virgo retrogrades on the 25th of July, and it stays in retrograde until the 8th of September. This is a time to reassess and to evaluate what it is you love. It's the goddess of love kind of cools off a little bit. It's not a great time to enter into agreements, so signing new contracts or starting new relationships even. So if you do make a decision to kind of take your life forward, to take your romantic relationship forward, I wouldn't suggest you plan the wedding between the 25th of July to the 8th of September. I would suggest that you take this time to re-evaluate and to really look at how you see things progressing and what it is you love about each other or what it is you love about your work, and to really use this as a kind of objective analysis of your life and where you want it to go. Finally, the month ends with a full moon on the 31st of July in Aquarius in your second house. Now, there was a full moon on the 2nd of July, and there's another full moon now at the end of July. And this happens very rarely, and when it happens, the second one is called a blue moon. And this is really rare. So the next one that's going to occur is the 31st of January 2018. So it happens, you know, once every couple of years, and it makes a full moon is a time of culmination and growth and fruition, things coming to term. If you have 2 of those, it makes the month that it happens in a really productive, creative, coming to life kind of month. And the themes that you've been dealing with all month is other people's emotions, so you will be impacted by other people's feelings. But the great thing is that you learn a lot of skills about your own feelings, about to manage the feelings of others, and I've said it, I think this is the third time now, but you become more emotionally skilled and intelligent at dealing with and handling emotions. So it's a really great learning month for you, and you'll be able to take these tools and use them for the rest of your life. So, not allowing other people to impact you so much and navigating the kind of dangerous rapids of other people's feelings. I mean, we've all experienced that when other people are just overwhelmed and kind of need some help, but unfortunately almost suck you down with them. I remember my sister, we were on holiday when we were very young. I think we were 10 or something, and there was, in the pool, at the bottom of the pool, there was another child who was drowning, and my sister jumped in to pull this child out. And the child, obviously, with panic and terror, pulled her down because it was so desperate to get out. So that's the kind of tendency, people need each other, but they can become too much and then kind of drain your energy. And you manage and learn how to deal with that very well this month. If you'd like a private reading with me, please get in touch with me via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. You can also email me. The address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a fantastic July, and I'll speak with you soon.